I'm speaking with Mandy Marley, and Mandy is trained in my program. And Mandy, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Mandy, and I am an educator. I've been an educator for probably 20 years now. So, worked with mainly with middle school and younger. So,
Okay,
it,
excellent. Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Oh. and so why did you start training with me in my personal safety and self-defense program?
Um, I started after I realized how perfect a victim I was. In the city that I live, it's pretty high crime rate. And I did not come from a city of very high crime. I grew up where, you could just leave your door unlocked and walk down the street and do whatever. And you didn't worry about having to look to see if there was someone, at your car or someone following or any of those type of scenarios. It was just your kind of, old timey type town. And then when I came here, I realized I was the perfect victim out there that these people would pinpoint because I was doing everything wrong.
So did you feel like you were an easy target for the
I
bad
was
guys?
yes. Oh, I would have been so easy. I mean, if you think about now looking back, I was the perfect target. I mean, I would have been so easy for them
Okay.
to target.
And why did you choose to do a personal safety and self-defense program instead of, let's say, a traditional martial arts type of program, which is what most people think about, for learning self-defense?
Right. And I didn't want the art form, like the martial art of it. Whereas it has its place and it's great. That's not what I was looking for. I wanted to know how to defend myself and how to avoid situations and that would put me in trouble. And I wanted to know, the kind of down and dirty of just defending me and my family. Whereas the martial arts great at other aspects, it doesn't single in and focus on how do you defend yourself? What are the basics and the things that you need to know and do to defend yourself? And I didn't want, I really didn't care about having to test and achieve all the different levels. I wasn't in it for that. I just wanted to learn. So that's why I chose the self-defense program instead of martial arts.
And then after you started training, what types of results did you notice, either in what you were doing or how you were feeling?
Well, in both areas, there was a huge change. And the first was just the confidence. I felt like I could go out and I had the skills and the know-how of how to act in a town, how to look for the dangers, how to know what situations were going to put me in danger. And if I did happen to get there, I felt like I had skills on how to deal with them and how to get out. So the confidence level was huge. Because when I started, I kind of felt like that little kid, that walks into this huge classroom and no one, and you just kind of, oh, this is how I would be walking down the street. But after it, I felt like I had enough confidence to hold my head up and look around and see what was around me and know I could deal with it. And then physically, I realized that I could do it When I was able to, in class, actually do the moves on men who were much bigger than me, and they worked very successfully. And so that gave me the confidence to know that, I can do them. And even on a big person, I could do them. So when I was able to actually take, the moves and apply them, and they worked, that definitely helped.
That's fantastic. Now, I always talk about in my training and my program that my goal is to give people the skills in the hopes that they actually never have to use, let's say, the self-defense and the importance of situational awareness and de-escalation. And have you ever encountered something since you began doing your training where you had to actually apply or you did apply some of the skills that you have?
I did. I am a teacher. I help teach a class at the church that I attend. And the area where the church is does have a kind of large homeless population. And we were having a class, and one of the homeless men just walked into the middle of the class and sat down, and it was very, very obvious after the training that I had received, kind of the body language he was giving off, that something was not right. It wasn't just like someone coming in to sit and enjoy the class. It was, there were many signals that he gave off. And so I knew things that I needed to do to be ready in case something happened. I knew how to position myself within the classroom. I knew how to talk to him, and even like the hands, things I could do that would be more calming, and just all of those, because we had practiced so much, I really didn't even have to think about them. They just kind of came into my mind, and I was able to apply them. Thankfully, it never escalated. He did not get violent. But it was one of those things that I was constantly aware, because I knew to be aware. I knew what things to look for. And so I knew that there were certain clues to look for if things were going to go wrong. And so it was very, very helpful. I felt so much calmer than I would have if I didn't have those already in there, just ready to pull, because they had been so ingrained, and I had practiced, and it was part of my muscle memory and everything, that it was just so much easier, and I felt calm instead of that heightened, like, oh no, what am I going to do? Yeah.
And how many kids were in there with you?
Oh, there were probably 15 kids.
Wow. So pretty scary situation, especially coming out of the blue.
Yes. But it was.
But you were able to, just because everything you had patterned everything, and you did your hands like the safe stance.
Yes.
I noticed that. That's a nice both de-escalation, but also prepared position. So, and you went right into it. You didn't even have to think about it. You automatically just jumped right into it.
It was amazing how automatic all of it was. Even the hands, the voice, the talking, the just automatically positioning myself, like not even thinking about where I needed to be, but knowing where I needed to be. It wasn't like I have to sit and think, oh wait, because I've been in that classroom so many times, I had prepared. That's one of the things the program does. It helps you think ahead, so that if you have places you normally are, you think about those places ahead of time. What if something happens there? And so I had already thought of it, because that's something that we did. So
that's excellent. That's fantastic. I don't want to keep you too long, so I'm going to ask you if there's anybody that's out there that's interested and wants to learn more, and what would you tell them in terms of, go ahead and taking a free consultation call with me to learn more about how they can learn to keep themselves safe? What types of things would you say to them?
I don't hesitate. It's 100% worth it. I would say anyone, everyone, it's a skill they really need to have. It doesn't matter where you live, because there's craziness and all kinds of things everywhere. I think it's something that every person should have. When my kids get old enough, they're going to have it. It's something that you may never use in your lifetime, and you hope you don't have to use, but that one time that you do the right move for, to save your kid, yourself, your friend, whoever, the entire thing is worth it. And just that calm and confidence that you give yourself in the world today, it takes a whole stress level down. My stress level walking in the city now is much lower than it used to be. So there's no doubt, no question. I would say jump on it, do it. It's worth it.